Hi, Gyorgyi Szabo. You are coming from Hungary. We are going to explore more in detail the work of Ervin Laszlow. We have done already a first video about this subject, an introductive video, but we won't go now more ahead in the details. So the books of Ervin Laszlow, the last book, The Self-Actualizing Cosmos, which is a new way to consider actually what is the reality, what is our universe, a new approach of the truth, of the global truth of the world, a global theory of everything.
Yes.
And of course that is one book, but the work of Ervin Laszlow is not one book. He have write more than 100 books, translate in
several languages,
more than 30 different languages. And of course we have spoke already about the theory, but what about the life, or I mean, where he come from? Because it is interesting to see also his life. Why, at the end of his life, because now he's around 80s, how at the end of your life, at 80s, you write a theory about everything?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Michel. It's great to be here. Well, Ervin wouldn't want to hear that he has an end of life because he's still very busy. He's 83 now. He was born in Hungary, in Budapest, and he was a prodigy of piano. So he was playing, became an international pianist, and he traveled the world. However, certain influences came into his life. One of which was through his uncle. He was talking to him about life and cosmos and cosmology, and so probably he was the one who was putting the first seeds into his consciousness about philosophy. And once when he was at a concert and he was playing an interesting piece, he realized, he found himself that his attention was elsewhere, and he was thinking he was thinking more and more about that. What is life? What is the meaning of life? What is it about life really? Where it is going, and why it is going, and what drives or who drives really its actions. So he realized that his path was continuing on a philosophical direction rather on a musical direction.
And then he shift completely because he come from artistic musician. His life is more connected at the beginning with music, with art, and then he shift completely and began to make a PhD in philosophy in the Sorbonne, actually.
Absolutely, yes. Well, he started to read. He started to read about what others were saying about life, like philosophers, and he started to write. And then one person actually in Holland, a publisher, realized that, oh, this is the book I want to publish, and this was in 1963. And
so his first book is 1963?
Yes, it is the
so
Essential Society.
He was a musician for how long? 10 years around? Or even more?
No, much more. It was around like 20, 25. But he was 33 years old when he published his first book.
And he began the music around 7, and then was already very well known at 15 years old.
Yes, he won numerous competitions in Switzerland, in America, and so he was absolutely well known, and he had a clear path ahead of him. But obviously, he was put on this planet for a different reason as well. So this is where he
and
continued.
the other part of his career was a shift also to let's say politics, not really politics, but United Nations, where he began to work with about the future of the planet.
Yes, he was working in several projects. One of was the goal of mankind, really. So he had a research team, and he was observing and studying and researching at what really makes society functioning as it is now. And so besides doing research project for the UN, he was working for a year for the GNSO and lots of different universities. And then after a while he realized that he just really wanted to dedicate his life to researching and uncovering the truth, his truth really, and composing really his integral theory of everything, which is the Akasha Plenum that he explains in several of his books. And I'm glad to say that there is another book of his coming out next year, and this is the New Map of Reality, that is the title. So it is even better and even more crystallized messages of his thinking.
A part of his work was also connected with the fact that he was traveling all over the world for now 80 years.
Yes.
Because he began very young to travel. Then he developed the traveling habits with the music path. And then as a philosopher, he continued to travel. So, and you have been traveling actually with him for 10 years or even more. So what was interesting in those travel with him?
Oh, well, many things. I was actually observing that how people react to hearing about his philosophy. I felt that everybody resonates with it deeply. However, I found that many people came to me and said, Gyorgyi, but how do I change my consciousness? Professor Laszlow talks about that the consciousness really is fundamental in our universe, and my consciousness is a localized consciousness. It is the expression of the greater consciousness. One can call it God or super consciousness, as you will. So I realized that me understanding this philosophy, I have to manifest it in a different way. I have to actually, with your help and with the help of the Club of Budapest and with other organizations such as the Lille University as well, how to innovate, how to put this theory into practice to overcome our challenges, as we have been talking about for so long. So I feel that this is my quest, to have interaction one-to-one, to have group discussions and really innovate. It is not just talking about it, but how we actually make the change. Yes,
that is linked with the last encyclic of the Pope, Catholic Church, about the fact that we have to take care of the planet, and we are just in the middle of the COP21 right now. So what is the message of Ervin for the planet? Well,
we need to create a planetary consciousness. This planetary means that we know that we are connected to the planet, not just in a manifest way, but in an invisible domain as well. So we have to have this green consciousness, because without nature we cannot live. We cannot live. Nature may be able to survive without us. So we have a great ability, a great capacity, which is our consciousness. We need to use it. We need to use it. We need to change it in a way together, where collaboration is our mantra right now. So I feel that this is what we need to do. We have to, yes.
Yes, perhaps the key message is about the fact that we need to connect with this information field, the Akashic field. We need to connect to him and feel that we are connected and feel we are part of it, and perhaps being part of it, play
the greatest role, really.
Yes, play just the good notes, the good music.
Yes,
each of us are a musician, and we need to play in the good music in the larger.
It is true. It is true, Michel. Let's really be true to our word, that humankind. Let's really kind of like make humanity kind and kinder to each other, kinder to nature. And I think we can do it, but only together.
Do you think, what is the position of Ervin? Let's conclude on this, about God. Very simple question.
Well, he doesn't use the concept of God. He uses super consciousness, which is in fact probably the same, really. He talks about that the super consciousness really is the motivator, the drive, the information that puts the information in our world. So it is. He said to me once that it is design. It is. There is a design. There is this conscious design in our universe. That the evolution of humankind, or the evolution of cosmos, is probabilistic. That it is for greater coherence, greater complexity. That is really the trend that he understands where the evolution of cosmos is going, and we are integral, intrinsic part of it. So this is his God, if I may say so. It is super consciousness.
Thank you very much, Gyorgyi. Have a good journey in France, and see you soon, because I think that is just the beginning, as we should question now more all this work around God, the theology, the science, the art. It is a very interesting field, and we just
touching the top
the
of the
beginning
iceberg.
of this thinking
Absolutely.
path.
Thank you for your invitation.